everyone, welcome to Rob's Rogues in the Batman universe, and today we're taking a look at the Batman Arkham City line of figures, going back just a couple years. This is Dr. Hugo Strange, as depicted in the Arkham City video game. I believe this was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive a few years back, and I happened to go to a bigger comic book store that's just a little bit farther away when the wife and I went to a big city, and he was sitting there on the shelf. So I don't know if they got a batch of these in. There was about 5 on the shelf, and I did pay $29.99 for them, so I paid $30, and I was like, man, this was a little bit bigger pill to swallow, as you know, most of the figures, I mean, are anywhere between $19 to $24, $22, depending on, you know, where you get them from. But since he was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and I think later on he was made available at the New York Con as well. But kind of had a little discussion with my wife. I'm like, if I don't pick him up now, he's already $60, $50, $60 on eBay, and I really wanted him for my collection. And of course, he is a big plot point in the video game, and I didn't have him for my action figure collection. And this is the first Hugo Strange figure that I own. So I'm getting closer and closer to completing all of the Batman Rogues Gallery that have been made into action figures. The design of the package is exactly the same from the Batman Arkham City line so far. It's the bubble cowl, Batman cowl shaped bubble package here. There's no other figures on the wave here. I've read this once before, so I'm not going to read it again. If you want to read it, you can do so right now. Maybe pause it. All right, there you go. So we will open this guy up, and we will get a closer look at Dr. Hugo Strange. All right, we have Hugo Strange out of package, and he looks great. And I like just the folds and the wrinkles that are inside of the jacket, or on the jacket rather. Some of the little dirt, since Arkham City was grimy and everything. And I believe I said, I can't remember in whose video, but as we started winding down from the Arkham City set of action figures, I said, I'm really kind of surprised they didn't make a Hugo Strange. You would have thought this would have been one of the figures that they would have done so. And little did I know that he would wind up being a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and then I think they carried that over to New York Comic-Con as well. But just a nice figure. There are not too many Hugo Strange figures out there. I'm trying to remember what the DC Direct figure was, but it was a Batman figure that was basically Hugo Strange dressed up as Batman, that you could take the Hugo Strange head off and put a Batman head on there if you wanted a normal looking Batman. But I can't quite recall too many other Hugo Strange figures being out there that are noteworthy. And I think this does a really good job of representing Hugo Strange. So I highly recommend it if you're able to get a hold of him. Maybe you'll get lucky like I did in my comic book shop. I think they had about 6 or 7 left, and I was just there a week or so ago. Again, the box portion that you saw was filmed much earlier than what I'm currently reviewing the figure outside of the box. But let's take a closer look at the face of Hugo Strange. His lips, I think, are a little too dark. I think he's been alone in Arkham Asylum a little too long, and maybe putting on lipstick, waiting for Batman. I think his lips could have been a little lighter, but it does kind of give him that creepy look. And I do like the glasses. I want to see if I could zoom in a little bit more. I thought I got the camera all distorted here. The look on the face, I think, is done really well, and there was just in the artwork, which I'll put up a picture of Hugo Strange if you haven't seen it already, depending on how I edit this. The way they always did the lenses in the video game is that you couldn't quite see his eyes because they were kind of frosted, or maybe transition type lenses or something like that, but you could see his eyes. And I like that they incorporated the lens coloration that Hugo Strange had in the video game. I love his hair. He and I have the same barber. So finally I'm represented in an action figure. Bad. But the detailing is just done really well. Again, it's a DC Collectibles, so this whole Arkham line is done really well, and who would have thought I would have been doing another Arkham City action figure. Something else I want to zoom in on is his name badge here. I don't know how close I can get. It says Hugo Strange. I mean, that's some pretty good detailing right there. To give you a little frame of reference, here is the 0-year Batman Batarang that I just dropped. See if I can get it again. So as tiny as this is, look how tiny that is. And you could clearly read Warden Hugo Strange, and they have the picture there. So again, kudos for DC Collectibles going that little extra mile. They could have easily just have not done it and just blotched some paint there and guessed, but with the naked eye you can't read that, so I think that's really, really pretty cool. His straight jacket doctor's coat is really kind of intimidating. Again, you can kind of see some dirt and grime here that is supposed to be there on his shoulders, because you would imagine that Arkham Asylum is not exactly 100% pristine and clean. And then when you get into the city, even his pants are done really well. Just the folds that are in the pants, the shoelaces. Again, really cool. I was very, very happy to see this guy. I did not think I was going to be able to find him in store, and I would half wonder if the comic book shop didn't happen to just buy some, or they knew somebody that was at San Diego or New York that they just bought a bunch of them so they could sell them in comic book stores, or maybe after the conventions were over they started dispersing some of them out to different retailers. But very, very cool. Let's back the camera out a little bit more. So the articulation for this guy, his head is kind of loose on the ball peg up here. It's not like wobbly, like it's going to fall off, or you shake it, it's going to move all around. But I do notice it does kind of float a little bit. Can't look up hardly at all. A little bit. I think it's one, if I get him in the right position, his head kind of wants to topple back down. His beard kind of gets in the way, but he can do a full 360 with his head if you choose to snap his neck. Arms go up almost 90 degrees on the ball and socket. Shoulders, but they do go all the way around. Bends at the elbow, turns at the elbow, which is always kind of weird. I hear Anthony say a lot, and I agree it's kind of redundant to bend at the elbow, turn at the elbow, but hey, whatever. I'm glad I have him. He does turn at the glove hand, as opposed to the ungloved hand, really. The right hand doesn't turn as well as the left one does, because I think just the way this is sculpted, the cuff is sculpted into here, but he can turn normally like a normal human being would, so he's not going to go a complete 360, but good enough. It does have a waist swivel. No ab crunch, because back when they were doing the Arkham City figures, they didn't start getting into that type of articulation. No T-jointed legs or anything. He does go forward pretty well, and I'm now kind of thinking about getting a desk and a chair for him, because he could sit in a desk and a chair rather easy. So that might be kind of cool to get him in something like that. So he can get to a seated position. May have to make a trip to Hobby Lobby to find a computer desk and chair for Hugo Strange to be sitting on. I think he would look really cool that way. He has a little bit of a swivel in the foot, like where the boot area would be, but the way the pants are sculpted, they kind of stop his foot being able to twist. But he really doesn't need it. He stands very, very well. He does come with two accessories. I'll show you the first one. This is a scalpel. If I can get in here. There we go. Not much detailing at all. He really can't hold this at all. He really didn't use it in the video game at all. This right hand is kind of useless. I do have a suitcase for a figure. I have a doctor's medical bag I could give him that I think he might be able to hold on to, but he can't hold on to this knife hardly at all. I can kind of get it in between some of these fingers in here, but it's really kind of loose. The thing he does hold on to probably the best is his syringe, which I think kind of fits Hugo Strange. he does talking about giving some of his patients shots. I probably have this way off film here. So you kind of place it in between his fingers and kind of get him like he's going to administer a drug or some truth serum, maybe to Bruce Wayne. Speaking of Bruce Wayne, let's bring the Arkham City infected Bruce Wayne up so we can kind of see the two of them side by side. And the two of them look great together. You usually have Talia beside this Batman, but since in the video game Hugo Strange knows who Batman is and is kind of threatening Bruce Wayne through the whole entire game, it'd be really kind of cool to have the two side by side. And this is Series 1 of the Arkham City video game figures. So this is just a really cool figure to have, and if you're a Batman fan, there are not too many Hugo Strange figures out there, so this is a definite must-have for your Batman collection. Final thoughts here on Hugo Strange. Again, a great figure to have. This was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and then a New York Comic-Con exclusive later on that same year. Definitely worth the price of admission if you happen to go there. And if you're like me, maybe you'll luck out and you'll find this guy around at comic book shops. I paid just a little over $30 for him, which I thought was fair due to him being a exclusive figure to the convention circuit. He can go for a little bit higher on eBay depending on who the seller is and maybe the quantities that they have. But again, I think if you're lacking a Hugo Strange in your collection, this is definitely the way to go. Today we've been taking a look at Hugo Strange, the Comic-Con exclusive. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues and the Batman Universe signing off, saying we will see you guys next time.